everybody, so we've got a fun one today. We're talking about Peacock's Bel-Air. When it comes to sitcoms, personally, I think Fresh Prince of Bel-Air probably is one of my personal favorites. I'm a little biased because I did grow up watching the show as it aired on TV, but it still holds up to this day. I watch it all the time on HBO Max because it's on there, and the show has so much charm, and the jokes are still just as funny as they were all those years ago. But I did try my best to go into this reimagining of Bel-Air with an open mind. You know, it's a show that I loved as a kid, and it's this whole new, entire different version that's going to be airing on Peacock. The first 3 episodes are going to be airing during the Super Bowl weekend this Sunday. Just the entire creation of this series is so fascinating, with Malcolm Cooper creating that Bel-Air short that went viral a couple years back. Will Smith got involved and actually helped him develop this into an actual full-blown series. That alone is an impressive feat. I mean, that's like the dream. It is kind of unfortunate, though, that the cast from that 2019 short don't get to reprise their roles in this, but I don't really know the behind the scenes of that. Maybe they didn't want to return, but I really like the cast from that short. In case it wasn't obvious already, the tone is vastly different in Bel-Air compared to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, as Bel-Air leans a lot heavier into the drama genre compared to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air did. It isn't to say that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was all comedy. There were a lot of very serious moments and topics discussed on that show, but there was that comedic undertone behind a lot of the series, and this series, Bel-Air, does not really have that, which might disappoint a lot of people. If you were into the vibe based off the trailer, this gritty retelling of the story for a more modern audience, I think it effectively delivers that tone in some aspects. One of my favorite aspects about this series that carried over from the 2019 short is the creative vision. I think that it's a very well shot show. It looks beautiful just like the short did, and you can tell a lot of time, effort, and money went into making this series feel cinematic. I'm not entirely sure what the budget is for Bel-Air, but I imagine it is quite high between the lavish sets, the epic cinematography, and the great soundtrack. There's a great hip-hop soundtrack in every single episode, and it usually fits perfectly into what's going on in the storyline. Like, for example, the first episode of this series is called Dreams and Nightmares, much like the Meek Mill song. A lot of the material in the show, I think, is heavily elevated by Jabari Banks, who plays Will. Stepping into Will Smith's iconic role in this series is no easy task, but I do think he nails the charm and charisma to this character, while also showcasing the internal struggle of somebody who has to uproot their entire life and has to adapt to this new environment in Bel-Air. After seeing the first 3 episodes, I completely understand why Peacock wants to air these first 3 episodes all at once, because these first 3 episodes really do establish the main plot threads that are probably going to be throughout the entire season, and gives us just enough of what to expect from the entire family. Most of them have a little bit of subplots to go along with Will. Some of them are a little bit more interesting than others. I'm not gonna lie, some of the plot threads in these first 3 episodes, especially with the family, aren't particularly that interesting. I do think the best ones that get a lot of screen time are the ones that follow Uncle Phil and also Hillary. Hillary's transformation, her differences between this series and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air are interesting, to say the least, without revealing too much. Some of the main central cast members are barely involved in any storylines, which is kind of a bummer. Like, Jeffrey's barely in this series, and you also have Ashley, and she's only in like maybe 2 or 3 scenes. She doesn't have a lot of dialogue. Same goes for Jazz, but you do see that budding friendship between him and Will in these first 3 episodes to a degree. I mean, there's not a whole lot of screen time with them together, but I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing a lot more of him as the episodes progress. The thing in Bel-Air that I think is going to be one of the biggest points of contention, the differences between the original and this series, is the changes when it comes to Carlton as a character. None of this is to blame on the actor, though. I think the actor portraying Carlton in this series is doing a great job being a foil to Will, because Carlton as a whole, he's always been kind of a foil to Will, at least in some sort of sense, but the serious nature of the material in this series probably affects his character the most, because his personality is pretty much the exact same as it was in the original series. But with the series being so self-serious about the character and this budding rivalry between him and Will, at times the character can feel very melodramatic, because all throughout the first 3 episodes we see the serious rivalry and that power struggle at home and at school, and then you also throw in this odd love triangle in there, and all that stuff really has not grasped me yet. That's not even factoring in all of the weird scenes in the show where Carlton's seen doing drugs, but I'll leave it at that. We'll just talk about that when the show airs, but that's a part of the show that I'm not a big fan of. It's just very odd, I guess. While much of the main baseline story for Bel-Air is the exact same as Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of the more intriguing newer developments for this series, I believe, is how Will's problems from Philadelphia still remain prevalent in the main storyline and aren't completely forgotten when he moves to Bel-Air. It's something new and interesting that adds to this reimagining of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and with the way that this last episode ends, episode 3, I think it's going to be a really really interesting to see how it plays out through the rest of the season. I'm definitely intrigued to see the reception for this series because I do think it'll probably divide the audience in some shape or form because it is so vastly different, and I don't think everything needs like a gritty reboot retelling. I mean, I wasn't hankering for a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air gritty reboot, but that Bel-Air short from a couple years back had me mildly intrigued to just see where it could potentially go. And these first 3 episodes, I think, do a solid job, at least keeping it interesting. There are certain things in this series I don't think are the greatest, like I've already previously mentioned throughout the video, and the dialogue itself sometimes just not very great, very clunky dialogue exchanges, but I think overall it kind of captures the essence of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Of course, I don't think this is as good as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I don't really think it's trying to be. I say give it a shot. I mean, hopefully the show gets better, because for now, I'm invested in the storylines and to see where it goes for the rest of season 1, for now, because I've only seen the first 3 episodes, so if it does completely tank after 3 episodes, you know, I've only seen the first 3 episodes. I'm not going off of anything else besides those. But it does come out this Sunday on Peacock. It's going to be on the same day as the Super Bowl, so if you want to watch these before the Super Bowl or after the Super Bowl, if you even celebrate watching the Super Bowl, because I'm going to be watching the Super Bowl, watch it, you know, give it a shot, you know, but make sure you share your thoughts down below. We do get a chance to check out the series. Do you like the series, not like the series? Especially if you're a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fan, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, because, I mean, those are the ones I'm very most intrigued by, just because you want to compare and contrast, at least to a little bit. Like, I tried to go in with an open mind, but you can't just not do that, you know? There's some parts about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that are just so ingrained in your mind. You know, stuff like that's always fascinating to me. But anyways, thank you guys so much for checking out the review. I really appreciate it. Make sure to leave a like on the video, also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.